The opening of the annual World Dairy Summit in Auckland wasn't short on drama. A heavy police and security presence necessary for the influx of delegates from all over the world. Summit attendance was at an all-time high, according to official figures, and the 2,000 or so delegates that attended the opening ceremony were treated to a more traditional New Zealand welcome inside the venue. Then it was straight to business, with 8 of the dairy world's biggest players sitting down to discuss the issues facing one of the world's largest industries.
So with New Zealand growing at 1 to 3%, with Australia still very challenged on water, I think the minority of the supply to these growing markets will actually come from Australasia. I think we'll have to turn to my friend here, Jerry, on the left, and ask him if he can supply some of it.
Yes.
The theme of the conference is the long-term sustainability of dairy, as well as the challenges and opportunities facing an industry so central to many cultures. Sustainability not just in production terms, but also in the minds of consumers, especially in the growing Asian market, where demand is expected to outstrip supply within a decade. Trading and Logistics Manager of Hong Kong dairy company Da Chong Hong Holdings, Alex Chu, says the Chinese consumer is naturally distrustful of imported food products, especially dairy, in the wake of the 2008 melamine infant formula scandal.
Consumers' trust in the goodness and safety of the products was seriously damaged by the melamine scandal in 2008. On the other hand, it reinforced their trust in internationally produced dairy products, creating strong demand for them.
Also of concern was the unusually slow growth of global dairy supply in the face of soaring demand.
And what we're seeing globally in terms of growth is very little. And if we look at mature markets, whether it be Western Europe or North America, we're seeing flat growth in volume terms. But in emerging markets globally, we're seeing high single-digit growth in the 5 to 10% category.
The discussion then switched to how dairy products are traded globally, and the biggest problem of them all, price volatility. It was something all the leaders certainly had an opinion on.
I think the good news is that the market is going to be good, but it's going to be very volatile. But prices on average will be in the positive direction.
Fonterra's Andrew Ferrier spoke about the New Zealand Co-op's global dairy trade auction and the attempts to protect it from the inherently volatile prices for products worldwide.
What we're shooting for is a tool that multiple sellers can use, selling to multiple buyers, that becomes more and more established as simply the global index. And then we can then find futures markets that can close out on it more efficiently.
US dairy lobbyist Jerry Kozak says while volatility in price globally is a problem, it's here to stay, and a method of wiping it out is not possible without impinging on the free market model.
What we're trying to do is to cut off the extremes in volatility, because that doesn't really serve any purpose at the farm level or at the processing level. So it's here. In the U.S., as an example, our input costs, because of our ethanol policies, et cetera, have exacerbated the level of input costs that farmers are facing. And so we're trying to provide some tools there to address those issues.
So if day one is anything to go by, the rest of the World Dairy Summit will throw up some interesting points for discussion, both on the farm and in the boardroom. Drew Chappell, Country 99 TV News.